people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Hello everybody out there in AARP world. Welcome to another edition of My Crafty Corner. I am Chef Amanda Pyle, previous human chef turned dog enthusiast and now craft enthusiast as well. Today's video is going to take place in July, and so it's summer, it's hot outside, everybody's gardening, and I thought, why not make these adorable, cute little planters? These planters would be a great idea to do for any kind of garden party, or if you just want to spruce up your herbs and make them look cute, for an awesome gift to give to somebody, like if you're going over to a party during the summer. But what I really thought would be cool is if this could be used for like a baby shower idea, plant seeds and watch them grow kind of thing. So a lot of great ideas for this particular craft. Everything that I bought today I was able to get locally for really inexpensively. So I thought we would show a couple different ways on how to do this craft. So there's one that I made up ahead of time. I'm going to do the rest for the video today. But I bought these little clay pots at my local super center. And so they started out as the orange color. And I got some chalk paint and painted just the body black. And then hopefully you can see that correctly in the video, but it says basil, which I just wrote with a regular old piece of white chalk. After the paint had set for 24 hours and dried. So that's one idea that we can use that's really simple. A lot of these things we might have around the house. We're going to plant a little plant inside of there here soon. I've got two more of these clay pots today. I actually had them hanging out around the house and then went to the superstore and found that they sold these separately for less than $2 each. So the whole little pot together might be around $5 or $6. This one here is about a 6-inch pot, so you can really actually fit, you know, something substantial in there and keep it growing. Whereas if you use a smaller pot, you might run out of space for that herb or flower or whatever you put inside to get bigger or grow over time. So I've got a couple of those pots that we're going to be working with. Another really cute idea is to open up a can of your favorite canned veggies, chili, tomatoes, whatever you have around the house. Take the label off of the can and then give it a really cool color and paint it. And so for all of our little planters today, we're using chalk paint. I'll show you what that is here in a second. Here I did a more rustic version where I just did yellow and then went back and kind of wiped a little bit of that off so that the metal can kind of has shown through a little bit. And then I did one just in this really pretty solid kind of light blue-green color. I was also able to get these really nice chalk paints at my local store here. So this one here is like the really nice dingy yellow. And these are called matte finish no prep acrylic paint, but where I bought them it also had a label on the bottom that said chalk paint. And when they go on, they definitely have that super chalky texture to them. And then I've got one that's labeled ink color, which is actually that black that you saw on the first one that I did. And then of course I've got some white. So the two pots that we're gonna paint today, we're gonna do in black and white. And then we'll show at the end how they all come together with some adorable labels. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, first things first, I've got my 2 clay pots here. Like I said, I'm gonna do 2 different variations of these. I'm gonna put a little parchment down underneath. So I'm gonna use my black chalk paint, the one that was labeled ink, and I'm gonna use my white chalk paint. I like to get just a little paper plate to put some of my paint out on. So I'm just pouring out a little bit of my white first. And then a little bit of my black. So we're going to do a black bottom and a black top, or black pot. And then with the white one, I think we'll do a black tray and a white pot, and we'll see how that looks. So I did find it a lot easier to do a pretty good size paintbrush to do it. And I also, I already had dirt in these, so I removed the dirt out just so that it's easier to get my hand inside and, you know, move it all around there. And then I washed the outside just because I had some dirt and debris kind of on the outside of my clay pots. And I let those dry overnight so that they were ready for me to paint. And I just used some warm soapy water for that. I'm using the parchment paper underneath here just because when you set these down, they're going to have a tiny bit on the bottom side here, and you don't want that getting stuck to your counter or anywhere else. This paint is so nice. It goes on really, really easy. The brand is Waverly, but I'm sure that any black chalk paint that you had will work fine. I do go back and make sure that I'm cleaning everything up, make sure I don't have any drips. That was really important to do when I did the can version because that extra paint just kind of gets caught in those grooves. And there we go, we're off to a good start. And then I'm also just going to go ahead and do the top. I'm not too worried about the inside. If I had new pots, I might kind of paint towards the top of those on the inside, but we're going to put the plants inside, so I don't think it's going to show too much. Since I'm already using my black paintbrush, I'm just going to go ahead and do the tray of this one, since it's going to be all black. And you can do 2 coats of this, or you can do 1 and leave it a little bit rustic. It goes on super thick. So that's really up to you, how much time you have. There we go. Oops, already that wants to stick to the paper. Show this here. Got to turn it on its side now. Perfect. It can get a little bit tricky when you're trying to do these bottom parts here to hold on to, so we might have to let it dry for a bit and go back and do some of those hard to get patches where your fingers are holding on. We will do as much as we can now. Again, going back, cleaning up a little bit of that excess. And then we were going to do this one white with a black bottom. So we're going to need another one of those black bottoms. Goes on so easy, so nice and thick. Gives a really nice coating. It also washes right off, so. All right. Maybe we'll try that. I was really excited that I could buy the trays separately because I've had the pots for many years that I was using to do the project for, so it worked out really awesome. You can paint the bottom, but you certainly don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to do the little lip of mine. Perfect. Maybe we can flip this one over and do the same thing and get all those hard to reach areas. Perfect. All right, now that we've got our 2 black bottoms and our 2 trays to set them in, we're going to do this one here in white. New paintbrush. And I have removed all of the stickers from the bottom of everything before I got started. Now I'm picking a chalk bright white, but they had kind of an off dingy white that I thought would look really nice on this too. But as you can see, it goes on so nice and thick. It really is a nice paint to work with. We'll be doing some other chalk paint projects here soon. Now again, if you want to have some kind of rustic paint strokes coming through, then you definitely don't need to do multiple coats, because these are kind of supposed to look like a little rustic planter anyway. My first black one that I showed you, I did do 2 coats, and I was able to do that like 15 minutes after I put it on. So it dries really nice and quickly as well. And you can see that's looking pretty nice there. I mean, it's already just soaking right into there, so with this white, I think you could almost apply a second coat pretty much instantly. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. We'll set this one down here. I think I've made it 2 times around. That looks really nice. I don't think it's going to need a second coat at all. And this black one is already almost dry, so that should be a testament to how quickly this little project can go. And then here, we're just going to touch up our top white rim. And there we go. Cute, cute, cute. All right, so we're going to let those dry, and then we will come back and revisit those here shortly. I'm going to leave my paint out on my paper plate just in case I want to go back and do another coat. Sometimes we need that to dry before we can actually feel that situation out. All right, so we're going to move all of this over, and then I'll show you how to make these adorable labels that shows what everything is. All right, so now that we have our planters painted, we've set those off to the side. We're gonna let them dry for a little bit here while we work on some decorative name tags to label each of our cute herbs, plants, whatever you're putting in your pot, in your little planters today. So I hit up the local dollar store, which I love going to for crafts, and I found this really nice 2-pack of chalkboard crop-it stickers. So on one side of these has it has the grid, which makes it so easy to cut and get a perfect square or rectangle is what I like a little bit better. So on one side it's chalk. So that's one option that works really nice because it can stick on pretty much anything. Another really cute option would be to get a 4-pack of these little tiny chalkboards. And I took them, they came on a little cardboard like this, and I took them and I popped off the back clip to those, and I've got my hot glue gun on, and I'm going to hot glue those on to the front, and it's going to look a little something like this, which is pretty cute. Okay, it also looks really cute on the front of the pot. So just kind of depending on what you want to do, there's a lot of different options here. So we're going to show both of those. Now what can I write on these awesome chalk tools with? Well, you're going to need a chalk marker or some regular chalk. So when I did this one here, I used just a regular white chalk and wrote some cursive script on there. I think that looks really cute. There's also these chalk writers at the dollar store. These are okay. I like these a little bit bigger for larger writing and tasks or even windows than I like it for this particular project. So I went to like a local craft store and I got these liquid chalk markers, which I really like. They do require some shaking. It's a bit of a learning curve to learn how to use them. You need to open them up and kind of pump out the chalk that's inside to get it into the tip before you can start writing. But once you figure out how to use them, they work really great on any chalk surface, really, and are easily wipeable. So those are some different options that you can use. So here is one that I cut out, and I just wrote chive on it, and then I just clipped the corners. So I used the grid on the back to get a really nice rectangle shape, and then clipped 4 corners off, and then wrote chive on there. So this is going to look really adorable on there as well. So there's a different option that you can do. So let's go ahead and peel that off. And then again, I just kind of put in a pop of this color into my yellow can and just kind of dragged my paintbrush around so that it left some of this really cool metal coming through, which I thought looked kind of neat and kind of rustic. And now I'm just going to line this up right in the center. And as you can see, this sticks on. Oop, I accidentally wiped off my chive board. But the sticker itself sticks on really nice. And I'll tell you what, we'll just start all over from scratch because that wipes off so nicely. And that stuck on great. Writing may be the challenge here with those little lines, but we'll give it a shot here. And since we wrote chive on the can, that's what we're going to plant inside. So let's go ahead and do that and get this one going. I've got a little bit of dirt over here. And you know what you could do is also poke a hole in the bottom of your can if you like, because you're going to want to water. And when you water, you don't want your can to hold everything. So I'm just going to use a knife or whatever you've got, a screwdriver would even work. And I'm just going to give a couple holes to the bottom of my can like that. This will allow that water to go through if it needs it. I'm going to put a tiny bit on the bottom. Now my chives were already in my garden, so I just simply pulled some out. And I tried to get the roots. That way I could plant them right back in here without any trouble. Now if you were giving a gift, you wouldn't have to worry about this as much. So here's these chives. Pull out some of the brown pieces. And this is a plant that's going to need, you know, a lot of support. So I wanted to have the tall can for it. I thought it would work perfect, just so that it can be held up. All right, so now that I have those in there, I'm now going to add some more dirt. Pack it all around these babies to hold them up in place. These chives are already full grown, so you could either plant seeds in your pots today, or you could plant already grown plants and give them a little extra love and attention, because when you move something from a garden to a planter, or move something at all, it might need a little extra love, a little extra water, a little extra attention, and maybe even some plant food to kind of help stabilize it from the shock from the move. Moving is shocking for everything, even plants. All right, this is looking pretty cute. Go in with my scissors. I'm gonna clip out this brown one here. Pretty cute. All right, there's one down. And I'll have to be mindful. I let my finger get that C again. I'll have to change it, but when you're planting, you want to be mindful of not touching that label. It's probably the hardest thing about this project. It's getting that label on there and not touching it. So we'll see. We can add our C back in. Ta-da! We're back. All right, we'll set that one off to the side. That turned out absolutely adorable. Definitely want to water your plants immediately. Look at how cute that is. Definitely want to water your plants immediately after you get them planted today so that they can start thriving again and get those roots back into the dirt and solidified. All right, so one planter down. That's so cute. I want to do the other can now. So we're first going to put our label on. So I'm going to turn over my little chalk paper here. I'm going to clip maybe a square this time. And they actually sell these stickers that are already circles and other different shapes that you could definitely pre-buy. But I just thought these were so simple and neat and cheap. And you can kind of customize them however you like. So I took a little bit more off my corners there, just to give a bit of a different shape, and we'll see how we like that. Alright, and we've got a blue can here. Maybe we'll try to do the writing after this time. I always try to find my least favorite side, or if there's a part I messed up and I didn't like as much. I'm going to trim that sticker just a tad bit more. Alright. So we got like a octagon on there this time. Seal it in to the can. And that looks like it's on there pretty good to me. All right, and this one is going to be basil. Now when I pulled some of my basil plant, I was really careful to get most of the dirt with it, just because it's a little bit more delicate of a plant than chives, which are almost impossible to kill. So I wanted to make sure I got all of the roots of my basil. That way it has a better chance of success. And I got that in there. Oh, this one looks amazing as well. Adding a little more dirt to the party. Stamp it down. So cute. And there's that one. And we'll go ahead and there we go. There's our basil. We are moving right along. Those turned out absolutely way cuter than I even thought they would. All right, so next we're gonna work on, clean up my mess a little bit here. I'll show you how these all come together. All right, so now we've got this adorable little one. And this one already says basil, but I planted all the basil. Let's see if we can put that right off. I bet we can. That's another thing that's really cool about the chalk paint, is it's wipeable. I'm just dipping my napkin in a little bit of water and wiping that right off. No big deal. Okay. And then this one here, we're going to do a cute little twine wrap on the top. With some of this twine that I got from the dollar store. Super cool. I use this for a ton of stuff, honestly. I'm going to pull some of that off of there. I'm just going to kind of judge by wrapping it around my pot how much I need. So I want to get around it, plus I want to tie a bow. And it's better to have too much than not enough, right? So I'll go ahead and do this part first, because it's going to be really hard to do it after I plant my plant in here. All right. So we're going to tie it right around here. Make sure that it's even. And you might even be able to get a second round. Awesome, yes. And then we're going to tie the remains in a tiny cute bow. This one is just so cute. Let me try my bow again. That's hard to do. Very cute. Very, very cute. So since I used all my basil, I'm going to need some mint. So I'm going to use just a regular chalk this time. And I'm going to put that right on the front. There we go. That's going to go, oh, how cute is that? Right on the little orange tray. Get our dirt mixed up a little bit here. Now, mint is very resilient, so it's a great little herb to give as a gift. And I was just thinking, if you were going to like a summer party, it'd be so cute to take a little planter and say, thank you for inviting me. And it's got some fresh mint in it. I mean, you can make cocktails with mint. You can do so many things with it beyond, you know, just using it for cooking and gardening with it. So everybody loves a little fresh mint. And like I said, it's pretty resilient, so it would be a great plant to give as a gift and to replant into one of these planters. Alright, so some of the mint. And again, when you're plucking from your garden, if that's the route you're going to go, you want to try and get those roots if you can to ensure the success and the longevity of your plant. So I'm getting that way down in there. I'm going to add a bunch more dirt here, just like we've been doing, and then of course I will water that right away. amazing how fast these come together after you get the pots painted. I mean, that's really it. That's all there is to it. All right, here's our fresh mint plant. This is a tall piece of mint, so I'll have to show you that all together when I turn the camera around. So there's our next one. All right, and then let's check out our white and black ones that we painted for our video today. Let's see how those look. Now this is going to be the perfect option to glue on our tabs instead of writing something on there, because these are still drying, but they are oh so cute. And so we've got some more chive and some more basil, or no, some more mint. And so these are the little chalkboards, and you could do it like this, and that's very cute, but you can also do it like this. So I'm going to put a little glue on there. Got my just regular old hot glue gun. I'm going to actually add it to the back, and I'm going to keep it in the center just because this isn't going to sit flush perfectly on my pot. And then we'll do one on the lip on the top there, and we'll do one on the body so you can see what both look like. All the different variations is just so fun of what you can do with these simple little planters. Look at that. All right, so this one here we have on the lip. I like it a little better on the body, but I think this will look cooler once we set it on the tray. So I'm just applying a little bit of pressure to make sure those set in their space. Stand those up. And then we'll go ahead and get a little plant action going on in here. Oops, better pay attention to which one. Yeah, so mint here. It smells so good in here with this mint. My mint plant is out of control, so I was glad to have this project to be able to take at least a little bit off my hands, although this is a small amount. All right, so there's that one all ready to go. So cute. I don't know which one I like the best, honestly. And then let's see how that looks underneath our black tray. Oh, I love that. So cute. All right. One more to finish up, guys. And we're going to do chive in here. Wish I had more basil. I ate it all, that's why I don't. I love basil and tomatoes in the summer. All right. Got a little bit more chive going on in here. Apply some pressure. Cut off my yellow colored chives. These are ready to eat for sure. Just a bit more dirt in there for support. And there we have our other chive. That's going to go on our black tray. Not quite dry, so I'll show you that here in a second. Alright, let's see how these all came together now that they are all finished. And then something else I want to do before we end the video is I got a little bit of this plant and feed. You could use like the shaker, or you could use a liquid, whatever you wanted to do. But I thought it would be good to give these plants a little bit of a boost. just to make sure that they come back healthy. So we're going to go ahead and give just a little bit of plant food to each plant that we did today, just to help give it a little boost back to life. All right, and then I'll give those some water after our video ends, but let's have a look and see what we did and all the different variations. So first up are two adorable little cans, and you can see my basil needs a drink as soon as possible. So these are the ones where we made our own labels, cut those out of that really cool chalk paper, and then we also put holes in the bottom of the can. But this project could be done literally for less than $3 if you don't count the food that was inside of the cans. Just, you know, need a pack of stickers, the herbs from your garden, a little bit of dirt, and something to write with. Then over here we've got our 3 potters. These all turned out so cute. So first our terracotta looking kind of pot where we left the color that it originated in with the orange, and then painted the body black with our chalk paint, added a tiny bit of twine, and that looks absolutely adorable. What a great little gift that would be. And then over here we've got our black base white pot. I also think it would be really cute with the white on the white. So that would be another option too. And then these have the chalkboard signs that we took off the little safety pin and then fastened that on with some hot glue. And then last but not least, our little black one. This one here has our chalkboard sign on the edge. We'll add our little tray now that it's pretty much dry. And there's that one. So as you can see, a lot of really cute options to do with minimal ingredients and time, effort, supplies. Hopefully you enjoyed this video all about chalk planters, and hopefully you do something similar for you or a loved one or to give as a gift this summer. We'll see you back